Hi everybody, Refresh here, and today I bring to you a somewhat brand new product. It is clear sleeves for standard European board game cards from GamePlus Products, which was a company that was formerly known as HCD Game Supplies, and it still has the label for HCD here, but they've transitioned from that name to GamePlus Products. They are, like most of these sleeves, clear. This pack costs $2.49 at MSRP, and that will translate to approximately 5 cents per sleeve, which is about average. Let's take a look at what we have inside. Okay, it comes with just a little guide to show you the different sizes of all the sleeves and what you're getting in here and what sleeves these are for. So European board game sizes are 59 by 92 theoretically. Let's see how thick these are. 50 sleeves are 1 centimeter thick, and that means that each sleeve is going to be 0.2 millimeters, which means that each sleeve is 200 microns thick and 100 microns per face. Pretty standard for these kinds of sleeves. Let's see what the dimensions are. I would say about 61.5 wide and 93.5 tall. That puts the dimensions a little bit smaller than the average other sleeve, but we can see if they work by putting a card in, and I'll do my customary Dominion copper and see how it fits. It's actually a pretty nice fit. There's just a tiny bit of space on the sides and a little bit of space on the top. Like with a lot of these shorter sleeves, that does mean that you have less of a buffer between the opening of the sleeve and the top edge of the card, but that is a matter of preference. So this is what it looks like sleeved. It looks pretty good. As you can see, these sleeves are glossy and transparent and smooth on both sides. Now I'm going to do the sleeving test where I take these 45 Dominion coppers and sleeve them in 45 of these 50 GamePlus Products board game sleeves for standard European cards and see how long that it takes. Ready? Get set, go. Okay, it took about 2 minutes and 4 seconds to sleeve up all these coppers, and that makes the time to sleeve one card about 2.76 seconds per card sleeved, and that's actually not bad. It's on the faster side of things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are exactly 5 sleeves left, so there are exactly 50 sleeves in this pouch. Taking a look at these cards now that they're sleeved, looks like the sleeves are quite uniform in height and width. One thing that I can just notice just looking at these sleeves from the top is that some of them show a little bit of warping. Clearly some of them want to spread out more than others instead of staying flush. So that's something that is a detriment to this, because that means that the top edge of the sleeve will be quite open, and because there's such little buffer between the top edge of the card and the opening of the sleeve, that means that there is a chance that these sleeves will protect your cards a little less than perhaps sleeves that have taller openings or sleeves that create more of a closed seal with the top edge of the sleeve. So that's one downside of these sleeves that I can see right now. But otherwise, these look very clean. They're very professional. There's no loose edges, no damaged parts to them. There's no fraying plastic. Everything looks like a very polished product right out of the package. Now I'm going to be doing the shuffle test, so that means I'm taking these 45 sleeved Dominion coppers and I'm going to shuffle it 100 times and see how long it takes and see what the average second per shuffle is. So we will begin in 1, 2, 3. Oops. Okay, that took 2 minutes and 8 seconds to shuffle these cards 100 times, and that's a very impressive speed of 1.28 seconds per shuffle. It's very fast. If you notice during my shuffling process, I frequently lost control of the sleeves as I was shuffling them and they slip out of my hands. Despite the fact that I often dropped a sleeve or two while shuffling, the sleeves still shuffled very quickly. And you know, taking the time to pick up those sleeves could have slowed me down, but it was still a very quick shuffle. As you can see, when I'm shuffling these sleeves, they actually slide in very, very easily. It makes for actually a really good shuffle feel, and I feel like over time, as the sleeves get a little bit more worn and less slick, they won't be as prone to jumping out of your hands, because things are a bit on the slippery side right now. But that slippery side does mean that it just falls in really easily. Now, taking a look at the sleeves, now that we've shuffled them, it looks like the sleeves handled the shuffling quite well. There doesn't seem to be any damage, no bent corners, no split seams, no scuffing, no denting, no apparent wear of any sort. And now, like all sleeves, these will eventually wear over time as you rub them against each other, you put them in people's hands, and you put them on surfaces and everything like that. But at least during the first 100 shufflers or so, the sleeves seem to be in pretty good shape. And now it's time to do the shake test, where I'm going to take this deck of Dominion cards that have been sleeved in GamePlus sleeves and shake it for about 2 seconds to see if it survives a heavy table bump or even a light earthquake. Alright, ready? Alright, 2 seconds in. As you can see, the bottom card slipped out a little and the top card started slipping, but it wasn't really much of a slip. These sleeves do seem to stick pretty well together, especially if you've pushed them together so as to remove the air. They seem to stick pretty well. But even if you just shuffled them, the weightiness of the sleeve keeps them from sliding around a lot. So that is a pass on the shake test. Now we'll try the draw test, where I draw 3 cards off the top and see if the deck holds together while I do so. Ready? Yep, perfectly fine. Like, even with some mashing around, it still seems to hold together. So I would say that it is a pass for the draw test as well. Overall, I'd say that these sleeves are actually quite good. The downsides are that they're a bit on the slick side directly out of the packaging, but again, that does lead to some very, very smooth shuffling. And the other thing that is a downside is that there is some warping in the tops of the sleeves, which leaves some of these sleeves a little bit wider open on top, and therefore not as protective of the upper edge of the sleeve. And that is a noticeable downside that some of you will dislike, especially considering the fact that there is not a significant buffer between the opening of the sleeve and the top edge of the card. And so that does mean that your cards, especially at the top edge, are going to be more susceptible to potential damage should players that are not accustomed to sleeves accidentally put cards in like this. Especially since the opening is wider, it's going to be a lot easier for someone who's not accustomed to sleeves to put a card into the sleeve accidentally like this and possibly, nick the top of your cards with the corners or tops of the sleeves. Also, that means that if your cards are just sitting down like this and somebody spills beverage, it's just going to be sucked right in there. Now, the sleeve will prevent it from hitting more than the top edge of the card, but it does mean that your sleeves are slightly less protected, especially with the seals not being very tight at the top, and basically it's just open for a lot of these sleeves. And so that's a downside to having the short sleeves, but at the same time, like the fact that you don't have all the plastic at the top does make the sleeve look like a much better fit for the card as well. So some of you will like the aesthetics and the reduced dimensions of these shorter sleeves better, and some of you are going to be concerned about how much protection that the sleeves give you based on how much openings at the top. But overall, these things shuffle well. They seem to hold up pretty well to shuffling and handling. They are quite nice out of the package and very consistent, and so I would say that these are pretty good choices. If you like the shorter sleeves overall with the less space between the opening of the sleeve and the top edge of the sleeve, and if that's your style, then these are pretty good picks for you. I would say that these are probably a bit above average considering their price, and they just feel really solid and sturdy in your hand, so that's also a plus. If you have experience with these GamePlus sleeves, a lot of you probably don't. at the time of recording because GamePlus is a fairly new rebranding of the HCD company, and so you may not have a lot of experience with them. But if you do have a lot of experience, or if you purchased several packs of these sleeves and you can attest to whether they are consistent from pack to pack, then I have a survey in the description box below. Click on the link and fill it out and help share your experience with these sleeves. And that it also extends to the durability of these sleeves. If you've had these sleeves for a little while and you've played with them a lot and you've noticed them, breaking or staying pretty steady over the course of its use, then you can click on the survey and fill it out to help us share your experiences with the sleeve's durability. So thanks for watching, everybody. If this was helpful to you, click the like button for me. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. This being the last of the Eurosize sleeves that I have to review, I will be producing a roundup video at some point, looking over all the different sleeves for standard European gaming cards and let you know my thoughts on which ones are the best value and which ones are the best for quality and the best in price and all that kind of stuff. So keep an eye out for that video, and then I'll be returning to standard American sleeves after that. And that's all I have for you today. This was Refresh. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.